All right, fellas, we are about 10 episodes deep, and I think it's finally time we have that talk about Dragon Ball Daima, the newest Dragon Ball series that's taken over. Nothing too crazy, just an overall general view of the story, the plot, the pacing, and how Daima has expanded the world of Dragon Ball so far. Of course, we're going to get into all that a little bit later on in the video, but first, let me get into the absolutely phenomenal animation and direction that is Dragon Ball Daima. Every fight has just been pure cinema so far, especially compared to your average fight in Dragon Ball Super. I'm not going to slander Dragon Ball Super too much in this video, but if you guys remember the first maybe dozen or so episodes of Super, then you know what I'm referencing. Keep in mind that this is about the animation and direction and not the context of the fight itself. Obviously, the scale of the fights is also much more constrained than most of the stuff in Dragon Ball Super, but as laid back as the scale is, the masterfully choreographed fight sequences and the way they emphasize Goku's power pole using dynamic camera movements and things like that, it's really surreal. I, of course, can't leave out Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation in the Demon Realm. It was really done justice. And that Super Saiyan 2 sequence with the Kamehameha, it was, man, trust me, I know the GT comparisons are strong with this one, but fellas, even if you just watch this series for the animation alone, and we're anime fans, so we've done that numerous times before, you will not be disappointed. I mean, you can practically feel like the raw energy of that Super Saiyan 2 Kamehameha sequence through the screen. It's easy to kind of agree that we've been desensitized to Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 because of everything that's happened since the Majin Buu arc, but Daima has done a really good job of putting things back into perspective. Honestly, I gotta give a big round of applause to the animators and directors and whoever else has had a hand in everything, because the attention to detail in how the characters move, the impact frames, the lighting effects, the synergy with the unique color schemes of the Demon Realm, and every single fight sequence shows incredible care and dedication. This makes me feel really good for whenever Dragon Ball Super does finally come back, because if the moral arc gets this level of animation and attention to detail, we're gonna be cooking like never before. One Piece has also really picked up its animation game the past couple of years, so Toei is all the way locked in. Anyways, getting right into the premise and the lore of Daima, we're introduced to Goma, the new king of the Demon Realm who takes over after Deborah's death. This little guy right here. Turns out, Shin has a brother and sister as well, and it's later revealed that the Supreme Kai are actually a race that exists in the Demon Realm. They're called the Glen people, now being the established race of all of the core people. This includes all of the Kais and the Supreme Kais of the verse. Of course, the Namekians also originate from the Demon Realm also. Now, there's been somewhat of a misconception about how all of these races with pointy ears are from the Demon Realm, but that may not be the full picture. Mr. Popo implied that most races with pointy ears are from the Demon Realm, but not all. It's more like how races with pointy ears can trace their origins back to the Demon Realm, but not every race has to be from there. I guess it could kind of be looked like how the original migrants from the Demon Realm must have started many new races across the universe, like possibly the Yardrats and maybe even the Heaters from the Dragon Ball Super manga as well. And before anybody asks, because this is probably a burning question in somebody's mind out there, Beerus has a different kind of pointy ears. Plus, considering how Daima takes place before Super, we can reasonably conclude that Beerus most likely isn't from there. Who knows though, and what does Zalama look like exactly, and where is he from? I do have to admit though that the initial reveal kinda wasn't the best, because it takes away from that ethereal nature of the Kais by making them, another demon race, but the story ultimately expanded on it and revealed the 5 Glen trees of the second demon world and how the Glen people actually grew from these trees. All 5 of these trees are now dead though, unfortunately, which means that the Glen people will eventually one day die out. There are still a lot of inconsistencies regarding the location of the Demon Realm. In the guidebooks, it was said to be located at the bottom of the universe, but in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, it's said to be a shadow world created by Mekikabara, Demigra, and other evil wizards that were imprisoned in the realm at the bottom of the universe. Though Super Dragon Ball Heroes also once established that the Demon Realm is in this place called the Time Labyrinth. There have also been depictions of the Demon Realm in filler episodes, but I'd say that Daima is the very first time that the Demon Realm lore has actually been expanded upon in the canon. So, what is it? Where is the Demon Realm actually located? It's revealed to be a separate plane of existence that exists independent of Universe 7, and is actually the origin of the multiverse, if you can believe that. It's made up of 3 demon worlds that are connected to each other by the Demon Realm Tunnel. In Dragon Ball Daima episode 10, the lore is further expanded upon when the Supreme Kai explains how there was once a good Supreme Demon King who asked Majin Rimus to create universes. Now, Rimus, funnily enough, looks like Zeno, the Omni King, and they're said to be the highest authority in all of the universes. Even though it isn't explicitly stated, this episode more or less implies that Zeno is a Majin Rimus. Now, after the universes were created, the Supreme Demon King chose a few Glen to serve as the Supreme Kai of the created universes. That is the lore of Daima up until now. Speaking in terms of the setting, the world building is detailed and fresh and stuff that we've never seen or heard before. We've also got the Tamagami guards, the Gendarmerie police force, different demon world hierarchies, and even specific rules about how their air affects movement and makes you unable to fly. Now, moving on to the story itself, we're going to quickly overview everything that's happened up until now. It starts off with Goma taking the throne as the new king of the demon realm now that Deborah is dead. Dr. Arisu warns him about all of Earth's warriors who defeated Majin Buu, and so they decide to use the Dragon Balls to turn Earth's warriors into children so that they're no longer a threat. And even if you haven't been able to keep up with Dragon Ball Daima up until this point, we've probably all more or less seen episode 1. So these guys come to Earth, Shenron rolls with their wish even though he doesn't give them all 3, and everyone who fought Majin Buu is turned into a child. Sans Gohan, we don't really know what's happening with him yet, but then they take Dende and return to the demon realm so that the Dragon Balls can't be used by Earth's warriors again. So this officially marks the point where the gang is now all suddenly children, and I know this is what everybody was hating on before Daima officially released, and even the first couple of episodes probably, but I feel like where we are at now in the story, it's all really appropriate. Shin senses something wrong at the lookout and goes to check it out with Goku and Piccolo. This is where they learn about what happened and how Dende was also taken captive. That means that they have to go to the demon realm themselves, but Shin's spaceship turns out to be a dud, and Bulma reveals that she's gonna need a total of 10 whole days to fix it up. So for the next couple of days, Goku tries to get used to his new body and also decides to go get his good old power pole again. Now, a demon named Glorio pulls up at Capsule Corp and asks for Goku's help to defeat Goma. He knew Goku was strong because he had seen the fight with Majin Buu. Goku and Shin set out to the demon realm together with Glorio, while Vegeta and the others have to wait until Bulma fixes up Shin's ship. Until then, it's just the Goku show, and Shin also has to disguise Goku's ears so that he doesn't stand out too much in the demon realm as an outsider. Everything would start off in the 3rd demon world, where they meet a lot of goofy challenges, including that epic bar fight that we all love, and also make a friend named Pansy. She's actually a demon princess. Together, they deal with a lot of bandits and Goma's police force. It's a fun, cute, and goofy adventure, but the story puts effort into laying out the politics and the structure of the demons, the demon realm, and the whole society. There's plenty of adventure and small fights along the way, plus also a sparring session between Glorio and Goku, where he goes Super Saiyan for the first time in the demon realm. This was one of the coolest fights so far. Later, Goku would challenge Tamagami number 3 after learning that even Deborah failed to defeat this guard. This Tamagami was one of those created by Neva for the sole purpose of protecting the Demon Realm Dragon Balls. Of course, Neva himself is a legendary Namekian who is the last of his kind to have stayed behind in the Demon Realm while others migrated. He's actually the creator and guardian of the Demon Realm Dragon Balls, and a pretty funny character if I'm being honest. Anyways, Goku goes Super Saiyan 2 in his fight against Tamagami number 3 and makes the guard surrender, but the Tamagami then challenges Goku to a shell game for the Dragon Ball. He wins and Goku gets the Dragon Ball, and at this point, Tamagami number 3 and Goku are actually pretty good buddies, it seems like. He even wishes Goku luck on obtaining the other 2 Dragon Balls, meaning that there are actually only 3 Demon Realm Dragon Balls, and you just have to defeat the 3 Tamagami to get them. Of course, even Deborah couldn't beat them, which means it's borderline impossible to get all 3 Demon Realm Dragon Balls for making a wish, but then again, it may be impossible for demons, but not for Goku and the rest of the Z Fighters. Meanwhile, Dr. Arinsu visits the witch who created Majin Buu at Bibidi's request. Dr. Arinsu gives the witch a fragment of Majin Buu that she had collected from back when Vegeta used the final explosion. She then asks the witch to create another creature and also adds her saliva to the creature to make sure that this entity remains loyal to her. It's then revealed that Dr. Arinsu's ultimate goal is to take over the demon realm herself. On the other hand, while Goku's group prepares to enter the second demon world, Vegeta, Piccolo, and Bulma learn about how Goku has already gotten a hold of one of the Demon Realm Dragon Balls. Group number 2's plan is to make their way through the Demon Realm and eventually rendezvous with Goku in a few days. Fast forward to the reunion, Bulma's group loses their plane as it gets stolen by thieves, and Goku's group refuses to let them on because they don't have enough space. This is when, at the end of episode 9, Majin Coup is born. This entity combines the essence of Majin Buu with the Cyberman seed. They tried to make him look cool, but honestly, this character has absolutely nothing on Kid Buu, I'm sorry to say. Part of the reason why is also because of how he is Dr. Irinsu's servant and not a total wild card like the embodiment of chaos that is Majin Buu. She tells him to go on and defeat Tamagami number 1 and get his Dragon Ball, and he says, understood. And then in episode 10, we unfortunately get to see him get his ass handed to him by Tamagami number 1, which was pretty amusing, I guess, but this just solidified that this guy has absolutely nothing on the original Majin Buu. So Dr. Irinsu fires him, but then he tries to kind of sweet talk his way back onto her good side. He still thinks he's strong, and he's definitely going to make some type of crazy comeback at some point. Hopefully Vegeta gets to be the one to put him down, but I mean, you know how stuff like that goes. Speaking of Vegeta, the gang reunites again in the Namekian homeland of the second demon world. It's kind of cool to see Piccolo feel somewhat familiar and nostalgic about this place, even though he was born after his dad escaped out on Earth. The Supreme Kai gives us even more lore, and Vegeta then wants to go check out Tamagami number 2, but Neva pulls up right before they leave, and we'll see how this plays out. Neva may actually be the real threat here, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's had that idea over the past few episodes. Overall, Dragon Ball Daima is simply the story's return to its roots while building upon the established lore. The plot could be looked at as kinda slow-paced and laid back like early Dragon Ball, though unlike early Dragon Ball, fortunately there aren't the kind of Bulma jokes or fan service that would get the show cancelled in 2024. Instead, we just get like fart jokes and silly stuff like that. It's also really cool to see the Super Saiyan transformations regain their significance, and the fight sequences, I will die on this hill, they're some of the best in modern day anime because of the animation, of course. So far, we're 10 episodes deep, but if it's true that Daima's total episode count will be 20, then I guess we're about halfway through. This seems pretty fair and probably accurate considering the pacing so far and the laid-back nature of the series. To sum it all up, Dragon Ball Daima is of course just a pure adventure in the most natural form of Dragon Ball. It brings back that classic Dragon Ball style with a lot better animation, the fights are badass, the story adds new much needed Demon Realm lore, the pacing stays relaxed for the most part, and hopefully it stays like this. Characters face fun challenges, and most importantly, in my opinion, the Super Saiyan transformations feel powerful again. Kinda sad that Daima is not getting near as much attention from the international anime community as things like Dandadan or other major seasonals, but maybe that'll change when the dub comes out in January 2025. Let me know down below in the comments how much you guys are enjoying what seems to be the first half of Dragon Ball Daima. Have a great day, and I will see you fellas in the next one. Bye guys.